What if I told you that one of the most important pieces of the global power puzzle is a frozen land most people can't even place on a map? A place with fewer people than a small town, yet powerful enough to influence military strategy, global trade, and the future balance of the world economy. Welcome to its financial history too. In 2019, Donald Trump was mocked across the world for suggesting that the United States should buy Greenland. Comedians laughed, politicians dismissed it, and headlines framed it as another bizarre moment. But almost no one asked the more uncomfortable question. What if this idea wasn't absurd at all? What if it revealed something deeper about how power actually works? To understand why Greenland matters more than you think, we have to look past ice and jokes and into history, geography, and repeating patterns that most people only notice when it's too late. For centuries, Greenland looked useless. Vast ice sheets, brutal cold, and a tiny population made it seem irrelevant to global affairs. It was controlled by Denmark, distant from major capitals, and rarely discussed outside academic circles. But history shows that importance is not about population. It is about position. Greenland sits at a strategic crossroads between North America, Europe, and the Arctic Ocean. During World War II, this position suddenly became critical. When Nazi Germany occupied Denmark, the United States moved quickly to establish a presence in Greenland, not because of its people or economy, but because of its location. Control of Greenland meant control of North Atlantic air routes and protection against enemy expansion. This created a pattern that would repeat itself. Whenever global tensions rise, Greenland quietly returns to relevance. During the Cold War, this relevance became unmistakable. The United States built Thule Air Base in northern Greenland, one of the most important early warning systems on Earth. Its mission was simple but terrifying: detect Soviet nuclear missiles before they reached American cities. Greenland became a silent shield, watching the skies while the world slept. Yet even then, Greenland's full value remained hidden under ice. Beneath that ice lies one of the most resource-rich territories on the planet. Rare earth minerals essential for modern technology, uranium, zinc, oil, gas, and enormous freshwater reserves are all locked below the surface. For decades, none of this mattered, because extraction was too difficult and too expensive. The ice made sure of that. Then the ice began to change. As global temperatures rose, the Arctic started warming far faster than the rest of the world. Ice retreated. Coastlines opened. Land once unreachable became accessible. What was once a frozen barrier slowly turned into an opportunity. And once again, major powers noticed. The Arctic began transforming from a frozen dead end into a global highway. New shipping routes emerged, cutting weeks off travel between Asia and Europe. Shorter routes meant lower costs, faster deliveries, and massive economic advantages. Russia acted first. It rebuilt Soviet-era Arctic bases, deployed nuclear-powered icebreakers, and declared the Arctic central to its national security strategy. Control the Arctic and you control the future. China followed closely behind, even though it has no Arctic territory. It declared itself a near-Arctic state and invested heavily in Arctic research, shipping, and Greenlandic mining projects. Chinese companies attempted to fund infrastructure in Greenland, including airports. That raised alarms in Washington, because infrastructure is never neutral. Whoever builds it gains influence. Whoever controls it gains leverage. Greenland was no longer just ice, it was leverage. Then came 2019. Donald Trump publicly floated the idea of buying Greenland. The world treated it as a joke, focusing on personality rather than strategy. But territorial acquisition has always been part of American history. The Louisiana Purchase and the acquisition of Alaska were once mocked too. Over time, they became foundations of power. Trump didn't invent the idea of Greenland's value. He simply said it directly, in an era where influence is usually hidden behind diplomacy and investment. Denmark rejected the proposal outright, stating that Greenland was not for sale. Greenland's leaders emphasized their autonomy. Diplomatic tensions followed. But something far more important happened beneath the surface. Greenland entered the global spotlight. Once attention arrived, the pressure followed. Greenland today is largely self-governing but economically dependent on Denmark. Independence is a popular idea, but independence requires revenue. Resources promise wealth, but they also invite foreign control. Accepting outside investment risks influence and dependency. Rejecting it risks stagnation. This is the trap many strategically located regions have faced before. Oil-rich states, mineral-rich regions, critical trade choke points. The pattern is always the same. Value attracts power. Power brings competition. Competition erodes neutrality. The United States expanded its diplomatic and military interest in Greenland. China adjusted its approach but did not retreat. Russia strengthened its Arctic posture. Greenland became a chessboard without asking to be one. Some argue that Greenland can remain neutral, open to all, aligned with none. History suggests otherwise. Neutrality rarely survives when resources are scarce and competition is global. Power fills vacuums. Geography does not negotiate. The Arctic today is warming nearly 4 times faster than the global average. Scientists project that within decades, summer sea ice could be largely gone. That would make Greenland central to global trade, military planning, and resource extraction in ways never seen before. What the Middle East was to oil, Greenland may become to minerals, fresh water, and Arctic control. And this is why the laughter in 2019 mattered. When ideas are mocked instead of debated, it often means they touch something uncomfortable. Trump didn't create Greenland's importance. He exposed it earlier than most were ready to admit. So what can we take from all of this? First, geography outlives politics. Leaders change, governments fall, but location remains power. Second, climate change is not just environmental. It is geopolitical. Melting ice redraws maps and rewrites strategies. Third, history repeats itself quietly. The same forces that once shaped empires are shaping the Arctic today. The real question isn't whether Greenland matters. It's who will decide its future and whether that decision will come peacefully or under pressure. The ice is melting, the world is watching. And the most important places are often the ones we laugh at first. If this changed how you see the map, subscribe for more deep dives into hidden power and forgotten history. Like the video if you believe the world is shaped by forces most people never notice. And comment below, was Trump misunderstood, or was the world simply unprepared for what Greenland is becoming?